to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, where today we continue a month full of watch list maintenance with At Eternity's Gate, originally premiering at the Venice Film Festival on September 3rd, 2018, written for the screen by Jean-Claude Carrière, Louise Kugelberg, and Julian Schnabel, directed by Julian Schnabel. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, and good on that French there. That was clean.
Oh, thank you, Carrière. Yeah. So, I try my best. It comes a lot easier when I'm 50 minutes deep into an edible, you see. Everything just rolls off the tongue that way. I'm just at the ready, you know? But this is a good movie to talk about in such a state. At Eternity's Gate. The point of this month is that they are all first watches for the both of us. And this was high on my personal watch list, not strictly one that, like, I kind of described the month as a "how have you not seen this yet" sort of thing last week. And this isn't strictly one of those, but, you know, it is an Oscar nominee. Willem Dafoe. This is Willem Dafoe's only lead actor nomination. He's been nominated for 3 supporting otherwise, but 1 lead, and this is the only one. I mean, it's Willem Dafoe playing Vincent van Gogh. There is kind of a "how have I not seen this" element about it. How'd you feel upon your first watch?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I love Willem Dafoe. I always have, from Green Goblin. So, I mean, from literal first memories to just until actually seeing, like, his other work. But yeah, I guess, like, he is always a supporting actor now that I'm thinking about it, or like in most roles. But yeah, it is really nice to see him take the lead and about an artist that, like, I truly didn't know a lot about. Like, I know the big beats, you know, the dude cut off his ear. I thought he committed suicide was the other thing that I heard. And this is a kind of like I would not call this suicide. This is
No. So there's there's kind of a not conspiracy theory, but there's dueling theories about that. That, like, there are ideas that he probably did shoot himself in the stomach. Like the thing about the end of this movie, and I don't know if it is, you know, beat for beat on point. There are no witnesses. You know, True. He just gets shot by 2 kids, and then he ends up at a hospital. You know, like there's a little bit of a conspiracy that goes on there about how whether or not he did shoot himself, but no, yeah, and that's the thing, is that when it comes to this movie too, I appreciate that, you know, you said I didn't know a whole lot about Vincent van Gogh, and you know, you still don't really. Yeah. I appreciate that it is kind of like it's kind of just the shape of him, which I appreciate. It interprets everything we've come to understand about him, generally, through his work and through, you know, not wives' tales, but legend. And it puts it on the screen for us beautifully. I love Julian Schnabel. This is only my second Schnabel work, as the other one I saw was Basquiat, starring Jeffrey Wright as the other painter, Jean-Michel Basquiat. Man. It also has David Bowie and Gary Oldman and Benicio del Toro, and it's an incredible cast. Michael Wincott, he was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Okay. That guy's in it. Very different character he's playing there. But yeah, it's an incredible cast with an incredible director, and he takes a lot of really interesting liberties. Schnabel is similar to David Lynch in the regard that he was not first a filmmaker. You know, Julian Schnabel is first a painter, which is why he makes movies about Vincent van Gogh, Jean-Michel Basquiat. And so was Lynch. That's the only comparison there. Lynch was a painter before he was a director, and then he imagined one of his paintings moving, and he was like, "Whoa, a moving painting. How's nobody thought of this?" And he's like, "Oh, wait, movies. Okay."
Yes. But I wonder, Schnabel. Wow, it's honestly, it sounds like a dessert. Like, and no offense, but like it is a treat to watch your movies. But did he paint the actual paintings in the movie? Like, or was that actually Willem Dafoe? Or like, yeah, I wonder.
Do not know about
I wonder
that.
who.
And doubtful on the actually Willem Dafoe part as well. But I mean, maybe I wouldn't put it past him. He could have it like that.
Is there anything in?
But I know historically, whenever I've watched him, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is one I go to. The actress isn't actually painting; it's an artist who we zoom in on. But there are times whenever we watch Willem Dafoe,
true,
wide view, and he is painting.
Yeah.
So maybe it is. Maybe there's something there.
They're done by Willem Dafoe, Julian Schnabel, and Edith Bardrand, the art department. So I guess all three of them actually had a hand in it,
sick.
If the trivia is to be believed.
That's
yeah.
so fucking cool.
Damn, that's I mean, and yeah, the not even the literal paintings, but just the shots themselves. Like I love whenever he's just running through a field or like and he plops down on a spot, and I'm just like ooh, and yeah, it's like like I don't truly know Van Gogh more, but I think like what he wanted to get through to people is coming through to me much more like through him. So it's more of like the emotion I think from this movie is not really like feeling for Van Gogh. I mean, like it is, he's on a kind of a struggle bus, or not on the easiest road, but it's more of like the art reflection, or like the taking a step back and being like, oh my god, like wait, like it is crazy that people gathered and spoke and organized meetings of critiquing art and what can be done better, and who is this guy is terrible trash, and then he happens to be one of the
they're basically starting that meeting of them doing an artists union is kind of sick, like they're like how do we make it so that we all pitch in, we all support each other, and Paul Gauguin, which is also an actual painter here, played by Oscar Isaac, brilliant painter. Very, very different artistic philosophy from Vincent van Gogh, and I appreciate the way that comes through, but there's this mutual admiration between them that kind of, even though they paint with completely different styles and completely different methods, there's a mutual respect there. I love shit like that.
Yeah, gotta be done in one stroke or one fluid movement for Van Gogh, never stop and
intentional.
Yeah. And I did love how Paul eventually said, it's weird to just call him by his first name, but to eventually was like your paintings are more like a sculpture, like it's like a I forget what he called the canvas of what it set, like a gel or like a something, that it was just very thick, or that it was more like a sculpture, and then like just thinking of his paintings and how much more you can really see the brush strokes.
Texture
and everything.
Texture is everything.
And
and he was just he was ahead of his time, there are those traveling Van Gogh exhibits now where they do the 3D projections on the walls and on the floors and stuff like
cool.
And it's
God.
It's very cool. Yeah, me and Em actually went to one a couple years ago, and it was super dope.
Damn.
But there's just something, so now it feels timeless. Like it almost feels obvious that style would have at some point broken through, but the only reason it did is because Van Gogh did it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a pretty incredible thing to have accomplished. And to not be around to see that happen is a tragic realism for a lot of artists who managed to have this sort of impact. One of my favorite pieces of Vincent van Gogh media, if you can call it that, is a Doctor Who episode where Doctor Who goes and sees Van Gogh, and he sees him all depressed, and he travels with him in time to an exhibit of his in a museum to show him what they will one day do to celebrate him. And it's like it's so fucking special.
It was like I just saw it on TikTok or something, like just the clip of it, dude, and alone incredible. I was in tears. I was like, oh my fucking, like, come on. And that's before this, and before I was like the movie watcher I am now, where I don't know, I let the tears flow. That it already got me back then. So yeah, I was primed and ready for this one. The cries came at like, it was so random too. It was just like either whether art was just so beautiful or like he did like when he was, I think this was with Mads Mikkelsen, which, oh my God, I had no idea he was just going to pop up. And whenever he's like, hey, yeah, I'm the priest here. And I was like, oh shit, Mads Mikkelsen, let's go. But he was like that he thinks he's making art for people that aren't born yet. That might have been earlier, or not Mads Mikkelsen, that line, now that I'm saying it out loud. But at least the line, whenever I heard it, I was like, oh my God, like, only if you did know. And yeah, that Doctor Who episode is like perfect for that. It's like your name is still being spoken. Like in elementary school, you hear Van Gogh. Like that's just,
you learn about
that's one
Van
of the
Gogh,
first painters you
learn
know.
About pointillism and exactly.
It's so yeah, he is iconic kind of beyond belief. And yeah, it's like, of course it's crazy at the time, or like, oh, it's terrible, it's ugly, why would I want this on my wall? But then it's like, now how many starry nights?
God, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? You know, like I'm like, that painting he's hanging on the wall of the flowers he painted it's fucking gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't get over the fact that it seeped so deeply into culture and that's the thing, is that it did have to eventually garner admiration. There are very few people in this movie who see his work and go, oh, that's good. Yeah. And one of them is his brother, and he doesn't know if he can believe his brother because he's his brother. And he's like, you just want to support him. It's like, I wouldn't if it wasn't good, you know? I love it. And I love the depiction of Willem Dafoe as Van Gogh, generally. I mean, it's just an incredible performance, but something that is really, really interesting to reconcile in your mind while you're watching it is that Willem Dafoe at the time of playing Van Gogh is 25 years older than Van Gogh was when he died.
Oh my God, I didn't know he died that young. Holy.
Yeah, he died at 37.
Okay.
He dies at 37, which isn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's young to die by, but it's not like he's in the 27 club or anything like that. And so like, that's why I'm like, you can get away with casting Willem Dafoe and just go, fuck it, nobody cares how old he actually was. But it becomes funny when you realize Theo's his older brother. And he's played by Rupert Friend.
Oh, that's even better. That's so much better. Oh my God. No, yeah, that does not seem that way. No offense, Willem Dafoe. But
I'm going to say, I think I thought that's the case. I might be wrong. I thought that was
Theo.
If it's not the case, they certainly conduct themselves in that capacity.
Yeah, he feels more responsible, I guess, which maybe makes him, or more put together. Maybe is the But I don't think that's kind of Van Gogh's just suffering from a different thing entirely. I think he is put together, but the world around him doesn't accept him yet, so he feels like he's crazy. But yeah, I guess the only part that I didn't know, and I've never heard about, is like if he truly did think he himself was crazy and like had this it felt like played with time a little bit, like whenever the meme kind of moment was on screen. And they have their kind of goodbye or their breakup of sorts, and
between him and Paul,
and it kind of played in reverse,
excruciatingly romantic. I was
wondering like the time thing there, and like he seems to not know where he is sometimes, and is that just his drinking? Because like we never really see him drink much at all.
It's really interesting that they don't show us. I don't think they show him drink at all. Like there comes a point whenever they're like, and you're drinking, and I'm like,
I was like,
he's drinking. And like that's completely lost on me. And one of the things that occurs pretty early that I just initially thought was an interesting editing choice, but around that point in the movie becomes clear it's something that's happening to him, is when the camera fades out and then fades back in to a new setting, to a new scene, and he doesn't respond to it like it's him falling asleep and waking up or blacking out and then returning to consciousness. He just continues playing it. So it's an interesting kind of like, I think that's what that specific editing choice is doing, but they don't contextualize it to make you feel like that's what it's doing until later.
And
I love how much of the movie is just him walking.
Yeah, and like kind of shaky cam. Like usually I like the
handheld.
Yeah, like The Office. I just couldn't do it for like the shaky cam. I got beyond it at one point, but like it used to be that bad. Like if there was any shaky cam, I was just kind of like almost nauseous for some reason. But this is like, it's like in his mind, or like it's so it's like him, like the camera like is him, and so it was like it works so well here, and yeah, like he's like either just walking through a nice place. He's like, I love whenever he just laid in the field, grabbed some dirt, just threw it on his face,
rubs it in his face,
gave a nice smile, and then a nice cry, and then a nice like nap on the top of a rocky mound, and just like looking at the sunset. I'm like, man, is this really what we yearn for? Deep down, or is this like I feel like if remove all societal pressures and need for money, whatever,
expectation and everything.
Yeah, like goddamn, how incredible would it be to just travel the world and paint or draw whatever you see, or like just create and like just slowly get better at it, and you just are doing that as you travel the world. Is like, yeah, but I don't like. Does everyone have that thought? I don't know. Like, because I feel like I do.
No, yeah, I think it's kind of specifically in America and in corporatized and capitalist societies, I think it's an inevitability. Even here in this movie, it's not something that he is expected to do. He is being actively supported by someone with a job. He gets 250 francs a month to live here in Arles, and it's not much, but it gets him by, and it's enough for him to make it through a month. And because all he needs to do is go out into nature and paint.
Yeah. And I guess not success. People aren't buying his paintings, but I guess it's not like only if they knew. It's like the investment wasn't really quite good then. It did sadly have to take his death to kind of make his art worth it, which I wonder if that's why like the suicide story is more told. If like it was like a more dramatic, he was so torn that his art wasn't accepted, that he eventually killed himself, and now here's all of his art next to his dead body, and it's all for sale, by the way. Or like it didn't seem like that was kind of an auction, but like it felt more of like a memoriam, but like people were kind of picking them up as like this one.
Oh no, they were purchasing those paintings. Yeah, it was definitely. It definitely was. That's the thing, is that is not a that is a movie choice telling you it took his death for his art to sell.
That's true. It probably literally did not happen. Yeah, it did not happen that way.
No, it did not. But no, within the context of the movie, it's the choice they're making, and it's what they're telling you, is that like it took his death in order for people to see the value in what he made.
I guess I'm taking the movie largely at face value, which I do have to sit back here and realize a lot of this is dramatized, or like for quick storytelling.
Well, there's a lot of but there's still there's truthful elements. One of the interesting behind the scenes things, because I didn't know why Van Gogh cut off his ear. That's an interesting one. That is roughly why, is because Paul and him had a falling out, and that was it. However, this movie takes the leap that he wanted someone to give the ear to Paul. It's said in real life that he just gave the ear to a barmaid and was like, here, do what you will with it. So like there are dramatic choices made as a means to. Oh, and that's the thing, is that like it does go a step further and it psychoanalyzes him for doing it. You know, I don't know if that can't be public record. You know, if there was a doctor's like that is assumptions being made based on the fact that he did that and why he did it. So I like that. There's a lot of creating history here also, you know, for the sake of narrative.
Yeah, I wonder like how much is truly recorded about his life. Like if he was this shunned artist, you know, that wasn't actually successful in his time. Like if like why would there be much documented about him? So like yeah, it's like
no, exactly. Well, I mean, like he says in the movie, you know, people didn't know who Jesus was until years after his death. You know, like
he's like yeah, he knew. Bro was like, I wonder if he was that confident in life. You know, if that was an artistic choice, or if that was known that he was like, you know, I'm still confident in my work, that like it is maybe just for people, you know, another time of people who aren't born yet. But then he's like, yeah, no, basically like I'm trying to be Jesus, you know. So like I know you're not on the same wavelength, like you do worship that guy, but like I'm like trying to do that through my work, which is that's kind of hard. Like at least a thing, or maybe a theme, or I wonder like if I'm reading too much into this, but like the more that he didn't see his work, the more it did get successful. Like and not like to his death, but like whenever he was in the asylum or he was in there and still painting, then he got like started to get successful a little bit, like in his life. Like people were starting to actually notice a little bit. So like he kind of was still in the world of you know, just the asylum, kind of trapped out from everything else, and so removed from actually seeing the success of his art. And then like ultimately at the end when he dies, then it's like, well, he'll never see it, but you know, in spirit now, I think the memory death is long like not gonna happen. I feel, you know, he's his second death will not come for a very long time. And so yeah, I think he did what he set out to do. And yeah, it was a weird kind of, just the more he could not see his art for the world. Like maybe that is pure creation at that point, where it's like you're stripping away the monetary. You know, it is just the art at that point, and it's whatever comes to you.
Well, and there comes an acceptance before the end of the movie, I feel like, on his part. He's like, yeah, I don't care about that. You know, I don't care that, like, he realizes what his art is and he understands why he likes to do it, and he decides this is all there is, you know? Which is why, like, the movie's interpretation of his death is a tragic early death in the sense that it was cut short, not that he took his own life because things were never going to work out his way, you know?
Yeah. In the stomach. I mean, like, that is a pretty dramatic way to go. I wonder if that was actually true. Wow, yeah, left abdomen. Okay. That's, yeah. I mean, that's I guess going for the heart. That's not actually out of the question. I guess, and just going a little low, but man, that's just an interesting, like, you know, he never had a gun in his life. I wonder if that, you know, they kind of, he brought that, like, on his deathbed, you know, kind of was like, yeah, no, never in my life have I owned a gun. And like, I guess if he is getting to that, you know, it only takes one time for it to matter. But yeah, like, the movie actually kind of got me to believe a little bit that, like, no, he didn't kill himself. Like, this is
no, yeah, just a freak and that's why I'm like, that is the version that is kind of dismissed as conspiracy, the one that the movie commits to. It is generally accepted that he shot himself. Wow. You know, like, that is kind of the conclusion most have come to. Because
like, if the drinking is like actually real, and we just didn't see it, that's really interesting. But I think, like, it's really just their way of saying he's crazy. Like, it's just an easy, like, oh no, you're just a drunk, or like, you know, your drinking's got to stop. If you're acting this way, you're clearly a drunk. But like, I think at least it feels that, like, he is just truly misunderstood, and because of him being kind of out of time is why he's so just not normal or doesn't fit in with everyone else. But like I feel like like they're that's what the movie's trying to like push for. Like it is trying to make you feel for Van Gogh for sure, or like feel like a in a way that I kind of, or I've accepted that he committed suicide, but like I haven't felt for him in this way. But like showing it as an accident, it kind of, I don't know, I was like, oh my god, like wait a minute, like it flipped it completely on its head for some reason, and was a
no, it does, and I think it recontextualizes, it's devastating, but there comes a point in this movie where you go, well, this guy's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's not
like,
a happy fella.
This guy is going to commit suicide. Like you understand that's your understanding of Vincent van Gogh. You go, oh, this is only building towards tragedy. He's going to shoot himself. Like that. The fact that he doesn't and someone else does it then flips it on its head and makes you go, oh, he had so much more to live for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you already feel that way about the suicide, but it doesn't make it as apparent to you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of, it's sad, but it's kind of implied in the depictions of a suicide. Like, man, they took their life too soon. That's devastating. But like this is like, oh no, you had so much, you had it taken away from you, which is how I assume Van Gogh felt,
Yeah. Man. I mean, yeah, he did at one point say that he found sorrow greater than laughter. Like he preferred the sadness. It sounds like laughter should be, I think, the answer or obvious choice, but I don't like sorrow, true sorrow. It maybe is better in the like just post reflection, or like to have sorrow means that you have experienced good, or that you know what good is, sort of thing. But yeah, like he was very not. I guess I'm trying to like defend him completely, but like it was shown that he might have like sexually assaulted a woman. Like what? Possibly. Like that was kind of interesting, or like it was at the beginning of the movie, as well, and it didn't quite get there. But then, when we got back there, it was like kind of way more clear that he sexually assaulted her, or just kind of, was it just really forcing the pose for the art, or like that was kind of, I didn't know really what to get from that. There,
I took it as part of his vying for control of something. I didn't take it to be a depiction or like a movie interpretation of violence in that manner. I took it to mean like he has a clear vision for what he wants to paint, but again, he's trying to execute it in the way that somebody else told him to. He does this because Paul told him this is what you should do. This is how you paint faces. This is what you do. And so he goes and he tries to get her to pose, and he watched Paul kind of effortlessly request someone to get back into pose earlier in the movie. And, I think it's showing again his social ineptitude, his inability to discern reality from his version of it. And kind of deciding that everything is a part of a painting, so why aren't you doing what I am trying to make you do, which is people, I'm assuming, as someone who has painted and at times cannot get the paint to do what I want it to do.
That, I mean,
there's a little bit of a something there, I think.
This is, I mean, there's, it's a weird, like, truly just a gift to be able to paint. Like, I swear, like, drawing I can kind of get. And, like, it pencil and paper, like, you give it enough time, I feel like you get good. Painting, it just seems so foreign. Like, I mean, it is, like, to mix cut, like, just to think of every layer.
Yeah, it requires unbelievable vision
my God.
To be able to be a great painter.
Yeah. That is...
Like whenever he goes to the museum in this movie and it's those portraits of people, and like the brush strokes are so smooth and the shadowing is so clear, it might as well be a photograph. Like, that's the kind of shit that I cannot wrap my head around. I don't know how that's possible. Ironically, Van Gogh's and even Paul Gauguin and like these sorts of impression, like post-impressionism, pointillism, like these sorts of methodologies in painting, they seem more attainable, but they're not. You know, like they still require an unbelievable degree of training and practice and, you know, implementation on a regular basis.
Yeah, this and like I feel like the rest of like Mads Mikkelsen asks him like, if, you know, is this your gift, you know, that's been given to you to paint? And he does see it. He says like, yes, like this I have tried everything else. Gift, like he's like, trust me, I've tried. Like I've tried everything else. This is just all it is. And like that is such a, I think like he even asked him too, like where does that come from? You know, or like why? Like how do you know that? And he's just like, simply it is. Like it's just like who he is.
Well, and it's fascinating to hear somebody who's devoted their life to the faith question someone's faith in their purpose. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the thing too. What I love about that scene is that he convinces him.
Yeah.
You know, the priest doesn't see him as a mentally healthy individual. You know, he's not like, oh, you're good. No, but he's like, oh, I get it. Like, oh, I understand. There's very little that about their purposes in life and seeing what they're supposed to do and dedicating yourself fully to it. He's like, it's what I've done. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, so who am I to keep you from what you're supposed to do? And, you know, so on and so forth. Like it's an interesting, it's a really interesting take on his life. And I think that, I mean, I, again, don't know how much is real, don't know how much is, you know, what actually happened, but, this is the sort of thing that I want out of a historical fiction sort of biopic, especially about somebody who is not super well documented. You know, like there's a lot of documentation that makes you realize, like, you know, like there's evidence that Paul Gauguin and Vincent van Gogh were friends. Like there's no that did happen. That's a real thing. And like there's, you know, his brother was a art salesman and he did support him while he was in Arles, and you know, like that's. So there is evidence of his existence, you know. It's not like Shakespeare where it's like there are conspiracies that Shakespeare was like 5 dudes who wrote under the same pen name, you know, who even came up in this movie, which is, again, the connection to another wonderful artist, which I really appreciated, is that this movie made me draw a line from William Shakespeare, or from Vincent van Gogh to William Shakespeare, and the way that Vincent van Gogh, played by Willem Dafoe, was speaking about William Shakespeare reminds me of the way I feel about David Lynch and the way a lot of David Lynch fans feel about David Lynch, which is when he's like, you know, some sentences don't quite make sense, but I kind of like that.
Yeah. It does, yeah.
And she goes, why would you like that? You know, and he's like, I like the mystery and I like to not understand everything. She's like, I like it when the things I watch make sense, which is something you can't knock her for. You know, it's not, it's completely reasonable. But like it immediately endeared me to Van Gogh in that regard, because I've had that exact thought, you know, where I'm like, I like when it doesn't add up. I like when there's like, I'm not entirely sure what that means, which is the same thing that you get, again, when you're reading Shakespeare. You're like, context is everything. Performance is everything. Just reading Shakespeare isn't the same as watching Shakespeare. You know, like to see it performed gives the words meaning. And the people who can find that meaning without seeing it performed and then perform it, there's a reason they're doing it, and they're doing it well. You know what I'm saying? Like the best at it are unbelievable at it.
Yeah. And no reason to explain, you know. Lynch might not even truly know either. It was just a feeling at the time,
right?
But it's better, and yeah, I think something just connected for me. A recent conversation we had at work was like boiling down, some of your most necessity, things that you love the most, just boiled down to the simplest terms. And I think I came down to the fact that I'm addicted to firing new neurons, like to have new thoughts. Like the old thoughts are okay, and it's fine to reminisce, but like it is much better if I'm forming new thoughts, or like learning is new thoughts. And then I thought movies guaranteed about 2 hours of new thoughts. It is all new if it's a first viewing. So it was like
and that's interesting too, is that like there's credit to be had to the idea that a good movie is 2 hours of new neurons firing, whereas first viewing where you're not having new neurons firing is exactly what makes you not enjoy it.
Yeah. If I can theory juice, so many neurons there. But like here, I am not theory juicing. I'm just reflecting on like art in the world, and like now and then just like I'm going all over the place. So it's just like my mind's always going, and usually I watch movies to kind of calm the mind or to suppress a little bit, but whenever it can get going in the immersed way is like, oh, that's like true movie peak, or like watching experience there. And so this was a very good neuron, new neuron. I need a better way. New neuron is kind of a tongue twister-ish, or doesn't sound that good.
New neuron,
but
neo
neuron. But something
not much easier.
I'm
at the part in my little watch while we talk where Paul is painting Vincent while Vincent is painting the landscape. And he's asking him, why are you painting what you see? Why don't you paint what's in your mind, what your brain sees? And then he goes on to make the point of how people don't remember the people in paintings; they remember the people who painted the paintings, and what makes them important is how you painted them, not the fact that they were painted, and so on and so forth. And that's just such an interesting idea. It brings you back to like one of the most famous paintings of all time, which is the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, true.
And people don't know who Mona Lisa was. But we all know Mona Lisa, which is kind of incredible.
Maybe it's ultra mystery again. It's like a unexplainable. If it was Da Vinci, it'd be like he does have self-portraits. Like there's actually many self-portraits that he drew himself, or that people drew of him. But it's like that we don't really care about that. But the Mona Lisa, Da Vinci did it himself, and who knows, the life of Mona Lisa. I think that's you have to fill it in. And that's like the monster behind the door, the Jordan Peele argument, or like I think it all kind of boils back to the same thing of like the more you can get your imagination going, the better. The more you have to fill in the gaps yourself. Just the more neurons I get, maybe it is this what life for me just boils down to? I think I'm kind of arriving at that point. But the only way to work out the brain, I guess, there's no physical exercise. It's got to be up in the, just thoughts and new pathways formed. But yeah, this one was, man, I mean, I was a mess in a good way. Like it was just a damn. I'm crying again. I almost got to that point of like, oh my god, like holy, like I just wasn't expecting it. Out of this.
And sometimes it's just the combination of sight and sound, not even story. The score is fucking beautiful. I've been listening to it kind of nonstop since I watched the movie. And I noticed it multiple times while I was watching it, just thinking, holy shit, this is making the movie better. And I love whenever a score does that for me.
How did this not get nominated?
Yeah, but by Tatiana Lisovskaya, who has never scored another movie, which is really interesting. Done. And it compels me to...
Holy.
Yeah.
That is...
Compels
what a
me.
one and done
Why
indeed.
on earth? What happened?
Yeah, what the...
Yeah.
this... I kind of can't believe it wasn't nominated at the Oscars along with Willem Dafoe.
That's what motivated me to check this movie's Oscar nominations was that I was listening to the score and I was like, did this get nominated for its score? Interestingly, this year that it was nominated, it was the only Best Actor nomination to not be featured in a Best Picture nominee.
Wow. Okay. I wonder what just maybe a strong year, I guess, but
let's see.
Yeah, 2018.
The Academy Awards of 2019 would have featured, let's see, the Best Picture nominees in 2019 were Green Book, boo, one of the all-time worst winners. Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Roma, which is an Alfonso Cuarón, speaking of last week's Children of Men, A Star Is Born, and Vice. So, it featured Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody, Christian Bale, Vice, Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born, and Viggo Mortensen, Green Book.
Fair enough. I guess, but, honestly, no. I take that back. Those are, the out of those movies, I guess I don't think I've seen Black Klansman yet, but
I'm like, if I'm going off I've only seen 2 of the Best Picture nominees from that year. That's crazy.
I got Bohemian Rhapsody, Black Panther, and Star Is Born is all I've got there.
I've only seen Bohemian Rhapsody and Black Panther. I've never seen The Favorite, Roma, A Star Is Born, Vice, or The Winner, Green Book, or Black Klansman, which I really need to fix. But of the 2 that I did watch, this movie is assuredly better.
And I agree. I agree there. Star Is Born is still good, but it's not this. This is better. Like, this is great. Like, and it feels much more like the Academy nom. Like they would be more attuned to this movie than all the others. But I don't know. This year feels I can't talk for the others, but it feels like a crowd pleaser year of Best Picture noms. But maybe that's just kind of there was a lot of blockbusters. I guess maybe it's just so happy. Like, I mean, Black Panther. I can't hate on that. That was a fucking moment. So like it kind of.
The winner being Green Book will never not confuse the fuck out of me. I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but not good things.
It's got Linda Cardellini, so I mean, it might actually be some fucking getting it.
It has Mahershala Ali. It has some good stuff going. It has Viggo Mortensen. It has Aragorn in it, so it can't be.
That is Aragorn.
Yeah,
oh my god. Yeah. Wow. Oh my god. Okay. Maybe. Who knows? But that's I haven't heard of Green Book until right now, actually. So I maybe have whenever it won, but then it was out the other ear completely. So no offense to.
Yeah, it was directed by Peter Farrelly, who you would know for writing and directing Dumb and Dumber.
So, wait, maybe this is Gas. No, I mean this is I mean, I've had like every actor I've heard is actually good. This, I mean, that's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Things. Who knows? I don't want to talk wet on a movie I haven't seen, but here I can't like this. This is crazy. This is not in there, and it only got Willem Dafoe. I'm glad Willem Dafoe got nominated though. I think he deserved it. But man, nothing, not score, crazy. Cinematography, kind of, I guess maybe the shaky cam wasn't, I don't know, maybe not liked, but I thought it was like actually a great choice to do.
Best achievement in cinematography went to, let's see.
Man, this is crazy. It didn't get more love. Get past it? And I guess
it might have. Best editing. It was Roma. Okay, so Alfonso Cuarón again, going back to last week.
Okay, but wow. I would have expected this to get more praise or more attention from the Academy.
Yeah, let's see what the score was. Let's see what score was. I'm curious about that. Man, it was a stacked year for Best Animated. Into the Spider-Verse, Incredibles 2, and Isle of Dogs.
Ooh, holy, yeah, damn. Okay. I mean, I love all of those. That is, man, that is, okay, yeah, that's glad this movie wasn't animated, because then I'd feel like a lot more pause there. Or maybe like, it'd be weird of seeing, whoa, wait a minute. But like in Van Gogh's.
This was when Ludwig Göransson won his first score. Alexander Desplat was nominated for Isle of Dogs. Nicholas Britell was nominated for If Beale Street Could Talk. Yep, can't speak ill of those by any stretch.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, it's a tough year.
Damn.
It's a tough year.
Yeah. This maybe just again, wrong time. You know, just Van Gogh can never quite seem to stick the time landing. But
got to another part of the movie that I forgot about and that I wouldn't have brought up if I wasn't watching it, when it randomly goes to black and white while he's painting something and then returns to color.
To emphasize, I feel like the sculpture or like the texture of his painting, it really like got me to. I've seen A Starry Night, I don't know how many times, but just like the print of it, I wonder like how 3D, you know, or like how the actual painting, I wonder.
Dude, I love that. I love the way that looks, and like Paul being like, you have to think about the way that it's going to sit on the canvas. You know, like you have to think about what you're painting with, and because it looks more like a sculpture. Like, I don't know, I fucking love how much it's coming off the canvas. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a added effect. Like, it actually makes it cooler. Like, it's I don't think it's messy. Like it I guess it can be of the traditional art. Yes, it's more messy, but like, and maybe that's just my modern brain can't comprehend that, you know, this is just seen as complete nonsense at the time or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm trying to think of like an art form right now that's seen as utter nonsense, but, you know, is actually going to be just, wow, genius in the future. I feel like
there are a lot of people who think modern art is generally nonsense, you know.
True. Yeah.
Like the Museum of Modern Art, like people will be like, oh, yeah, all you have to do is put a print. Like the shit Andy Warhol was doing was looked at as nonsense.
Okay.
Now we look at it and we're like, that's kind of fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that and you know, I think what gets awarded is originality, you know?
Yeah.
Now, if you do the kind of pop art that Andy Warhol was doing, you're obviously doing Andy Warhol, and you can't get away with it. Andy Warhol, by the way, is who David Bowie plays in Basquiat. So another interesting little connection to the other Julian Schnabel movie.
Wow. David Bowie, the connection between everything. The Judy.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla and Judy. And
he's everywhere. I mean, dude is...
He's all over the place.
Yeah, I love him. And, you know, I love
Philip Jeffries, baby.
Yeah. But man, yeah, it truly... like modern art, yeah, I guess like her, or, you know, a banana duct taped to a wall, or, you know, something like, is like, I don't know. But like, yeah, I think originality truly above everything. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but if it is truly original and kind of difficult to replicate, I feel like is like it's still obvious that it takes skill to do the paintings that Van Gogh does. Like no average Joe could just like you walk up and boom replicate what Van Gogh's doing. So like
not by any stretch. And that's, you know, French Dispatch actually has one of my favorite moments that kind of articulates that sensibility, which is you know, whenever Benicio del Toro's character paints the abstract painting, and then, you know, Adrian Brody's character explains it to his uncles and is like, so here's a picture I asked him to draw of a bird. He did it with the burnt end of a matchstick, and it took him 15 seconds. He could be drawing shit like this, but he drew this because that's what he wants to draw. And he's like, that's what he wants to make. And therein, you know, like he could be painting things that are hyper realistic, but he's not, you know, so it's not nonsense. It means something. It is to him. Yeah. And I think that's That's a great way to look at abstract art and modern art. Like I think that there is an element to it that feels still pretty exclusionary to be like the reason this is good is because he could be doing this and he's not doing that. Like I don't think that that's strictly the case. I do think it's part of it. I do think that if you have no artistic ability, but you find yourself being completely capable of throwing colors at a canvas and then mixing them properly and it looks satisfying, I'm not going to tell you that that's bad. You know what I'm saying? If something looks nice and you did it with intention, and intention is kind of everything.
And and it kind of seems that whenever he paints, he kind of does lose himself a little bit sometimes, or like is that what starts his like loss of time, or is it like that's maybe like he truly lets go and just allows the brushstrokes to happen as they go, and that's maybe the purpose of really forcing the girl into position of like it's not even him at that point. It's like the art has taken over, and not still can't let that happen, on the human level.
Not
defending the actions, but a way maybe that like he doesn't see himself doing these things, like, or like it is truly. No,
he's also, he's also severely mentally ill. Yeah. Like there's no doubt about it. Which is, the priest asks him, are all painters crazy? And Vincent van Gogh says only the good ones. Which is a funny take, but like. Yeah. I know we bring things back to David Lynch a lot, but it's because he's my favorite artist of all time.
Yeah. But he fits the bill for this conversation, I feel like, really well.
He fits the bill for this conversation. So I'm not bringing, but like, look at David Lynch's, not just filmmaking, but if you look up like David Lynch paintings, they give you the feeling a David Lynch movie does.
Yeah.
He made stuff that, like, as far as what everyone had to say about him, which is that he was just a really, really nice guy and he was sweet and he was down to earth and, da-da-da-da. You'd think he was a terribly sick human. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's...
Yeah, these are paintings that like you find in the inside of a, like at the actual psych ward, or like, I mean, not like the people who are in there for, I mean, he
looks like he did it with blood and viscous, and I think that sometimes he
maybe
did.
Maybe he really did. Like this.
No, I know for a fact he did at some points.
But it's incredible. Yeah, it's like maybe he is the best example of like people who do find him fringe, or like some people don't like it at all. Would be like, no, I just don't get it. Like I can't watch that. That is kind of weird. But no, I'm like I'm all in. Give me peaks until I die. Like that's I need. Whenever I wished for the superpower to like select my memories to forget, it was because of Interstellar, and I wanted to experience it again. But now I don't know. If I had a gun to my head and I had to choose one to experience for the first time again, it's a very tough debate. In my head, I don't know which one I go for, Interstellar or Peaks. But yes, Lynch is like very quickly taken over the life, and I haven't even seen all of his work. There's still a lot more to go. So like someone who I'd say the average person, like or me, even 2-3 years ago would not have been so open to. But yeah, just that's why I think this, this movie did catch me at a good time. I don't think I would have cried the amount that I did a couple years ago. So yeah, it's like
well, it just has such a profound affinity for art itself, like for painting. And I love whenever a movie has a love for another medium like that. And obviously I love when movies have love for movies. That's a cool, the Fabelmans comes to mind. Yeah. But when they have love for writing, like The French Dispatch, and when they have a love for painting, like this movie, like Basquiat, like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, like, like there's so many great, beautiful movies that are about another art form.
That's a good list right there.
I think that's so cool, you know? And whenever you can communicate a love for another art through another art, that's kind of brilliant. I love that.
Dang. You need to assemble the list of the absolute best of every medium. You know, those examples, like take every medium of art and which movie portrays this medium the absolute best. And yeah, like as movies go, the love for movies, man, yeah, The Fableman, that's, I don't know, that is a tough one to beat. Painting.
There's a lot of movies that love movies, so
the French Dispatch kind of has like a kind of a couple built in there, like a kind of writing, kind of more magazine.
It does have a little bit of a painting,
so like it's kind of like a good all overall.
It's got cooking, if you consider that an art, which a lot of cooks do.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, painting. I think as pure painting, this one I can't think of another painting movie off the top of my head. This one might have to take the cake here, pretty easily, for that. But yeah, not I think like last week was an app. Like when I finished that movie, I'm like, holy shit! Like this shook the earth a little bit of like like overall like favorite movie rankings and things. And I did have a very great reaction to this movie, but I'm not in that boat, necessarily of like.
No, yeah, like I watched, and again, it's tough to compare two movies that are so different as Children of Men and At Eternity's Gate, and it is because they are just the two movies we watched back to back. But when it comes to the context of how I felt at the end of Children of Men versus the way I felt at the end of this, they are both movies, and ultimately movies that are completely disparate and completely different have made me feel a similar way. And Children of Men, that's one of my favorite movies of the 21st century. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about it on the other side, is this is one of the best movies since 2000. This is one of the best movies in 2018. Which makes it really solid. It makes me like it a lot and even love it. But yeah, when it comes to like, that was a fucking 10, I'm not doing what I did with Children of Men. When it comes to the rating, it's still going to fare well, but yeah, like that's the sort of difference you're looking at, is like, that's the difference between a 10 and what this will inevitably get at some point. But, it's just, it's different.
Yeah, someone wins the NBA finals every year. But not every team is like, the 96 Bulls or like, the Mega Warriors, So yeah, there's the ones that shine through. And yeah, it is still top caliber. Like of overall movies. It did get a nomination from the of the highest order that a movie can get. So like it is obviously in up there. But yeah, it's like it is always fun to have to compare whenever, oh my God, director of Sinners, Coogler, he renounces the Academy because he doesn't want to compare, anything. So like just this got me to feel it I can't think of more emotion that I could have shown during this movie. Like I think that I got the maximum emotional output out of this movie. So like like on an art 100%. Standpoint.
And I think this kind of comparison we're doing even applies to the movie in its context quite a bit. Like one thing I think this movie does, and Van Gogh tries to do, is try to appreciate everyone's work for what it is and the way it is. Like he tries to see the beauty in everything, and when he goes to the museum, he doesn't look at a painting he doesn't love. Like he's in awe the entire time he's there. And Paul Gauguin comes up to him and is like, these are men of the past. These are people who have done all they can, and they're never going to give us anything again, and they're done. And there's little to take from them, and there's nothing we can gain from looking back at them. And, there's an element where I'm like, I respect the passion to love what you do and to love a certain style and to have committed yourself so completely to your work that, you in turn become passionate about what is good and what is not good. That's cool. Good for you. But God, it's so much better to look at everything and love everything. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, like a friend to all is a friend to none. You know, if you like everything, how do you know what not to like? You know, But
no, it's
if you can look at when I look at nature, I see, or when I look at, or what do you say? When I see God, I see nature, and what I see in nature is beauty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
like that's
I've
written. I remember there was a couple years ago, when Andre 3000 wrote that Flute album.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And released it. I remember I got like super duper high, which is a surprise to no one. And I listened to it, and I wrote while I listened to it,
okay.
letting the music dictate what I was, what I wrote, mm-hmm. kind of. And there was a section of it. Let me see if I can't find it, because it's on my Patreon, I'm pretty sure. So I'll be able to find it before long. But never mind. But it was about relationships to God, you know. And I love that Vincent van Gogh says that he grew up with a father who was a pastor. He was a priest. And so I've learned the word of God, and I've dedicated my life to this. And therefore, like, he never outwardly goes, I'm not religious, or I don't believe in God. In fact, he seems to, you know, he understands and enjoys all the stories, and, he engages with it and thinks about it, and he's smart. And where he sees God as nature, and where he sees nature as beauty, and beauty is God. I wrote something about how maybe I don't believe in God, but I believe in something like it. You know, when I see the face of someone I love, I imagine it feels the same as someone who thinks they're feeling God, or as someone who believes they're feeling God. I don't want to say thinks, who believes they're feeling God. Whenever I listen to a song and it vibrates my soul and I have to move, there are people who believe in moments like that they are feeling God, and that is what I'm feeling too. We're feeling the same thing, we just describe it differently, and that is, you know, in a fashion, God, which I think is cool.
Yeah, and I don't want to downplay Jesus on, you know, for the people, but for sake of argument, I do think Jesus kind of humanizes God a little bit too much, where God, you know, at least to me, is where it is otherworldly, or it is so unexplainable that, like, you can't put it into words, where it is just a feel, it is an instantaneous, you just know deep down in your bones, like that. So I think like it, and that's you know, just the beauty of nature. Like, yeah, like 100%. I love, like, to lay down, like, to be in a field, or just vast fields like this. Oh man, like, there's nothing more that, dude, that I
no, it's unbelievable. Those are the kinds of things that will make a motherfucker believe in God, because how, like, holy, because how, you know, like, what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of thing that's why, like, no, we're going to get into a whole religious thing. I believe in a divine celestial being, you know, like it beyond our comprehension, that may have had a hand in creating what we understand and what is, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's absolute hubris to think we have any concept of what that is. You know what I'm saying? And not to say, you know, like, if the Bible is the way that you engage that God, the Bible is the way you engage that God. If the Torah is how you engage that God, the Torah is how you engage that God. If the Quran is how you engage that God, that is how you engage that God. But ultimately, we're talking about the same thing, is how I feel about
one
it.
Big pot. And, like, one big idea at the core of it all. But yeah, it's like I guess, sorry to open up the religious can of worms there, but yeah, it was like this is where the movie does. It got, I mean, boom. I mean, yeah, where Mads Mikkelsen, and I mean, they were full on philosophers, just going back and forth there for a minute. This was
a lot of the movie is philosophizing, which
Yeah.
I fucking love. It's people spewing ideas back and forth, which I absolutely adore. It's beautiful images with beautiful music and great actors contemplating art and life and religion and existence, and that's amazing. Like there's that point in the movie whenever he's talking about Shakespeare and he's like, I like the mystery, I like not being able to understand, and that's obviously meta commentary on the movie. It's obviously like that's what we're going to kind of try to do to you, like this man was a mystery, so we're going to give you a version of it, but you won't know if it's true, and like that's God. No, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Art.
It's gorgeous, and I think that I love whenever the camera does that thing where there's obviously some other sort of lens over it, and it's halfway up the screen, and it kind of blurs out the bottom half. Fucking beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful colors. Obviously relies on yellow a lot as the credit, the credit sequence at the end. Whenever
sweet.
Another voice comes in for Paul Gauguin. Dude, fuck me up.
It was like, what? Just a love for a color. Why did that make me cry even more? It's just like he just loved yellow a lot, and he painted it like it just. I don't know why. It was easy. I think at that point, I was just kind of, I was primed. I let it go early in the movie, but yeah, it was, man, like an actual delight to look at too. Like I'm glad I was back here. With the bigger TV, and I wasn't at home with the kind of one that's in my bedroom now. It was very nice to be.
Did you watch it on Tubi?
On YouTube, actually. Tubi, I saw it had more ad breaks than YouTube would have had, so I was like, well, I'll dive further.
Yeah, no, it definitely had more ad breaks on Tubi. I love me some Tubi. This is an hour and 50-minute movie that took me every bit of 2.5 hours or something like that. Like, I swear to God, I watched 40 minutes of adverts.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad I went with the YouTube option then, because it was like, I'm like, wow, this is just free on YouTube. I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, that's kind of crazy. Like, no excuse to not watch this movie. It's just go on YouTube. It's literally Martin Scorsese and Chris Nolan would scoff. But I still watched it on the TV. I wasn't at the theater, sure, but I wasn't on my phone.
It's been almost 10 years, baby. It's been almost 10 years.
God damn.
There's nothing wrong with watching a movie at home when it's been a while.
2018 is actually almost a decade away. It's
8 years ago.
Holy shit. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the year we graduated high school, which means we have done. That means we have done 2 stints of high school since graduating high school, which is don't like thinking about that.
Yep. We don't have to ponder on it too much. We can that's wow.
Where does the time go? It's almost like I get horribly belligerently drunk and then black out for extended periods of time, and then I'd wake up in a mental institution like Vincent van Gogh.
And for now I have the random yearning to paint, not let anyone know, and now I'm
I did paint today.
I did paint today. You actually loved and you display, like, actually display. I have one of yours. That was I didn't, I guess, bring this up, but I did like glance up a few times at your painting, and I was like, wow. Like, I did have that feeling of like, you were right in front. You did these brushstrokes. You were there. You did these things. This was your brain, boom, onto this real thing in front of me now.
I don't want to be like, here's the thing. I love painting. Something I was telling Emily today is like, I'm going to start painting more. I'm going to try to paint a couple times a week because I really want to. And she's like, you should. You're really good at it. And I'm like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm solid at painting, but I'm not good at painting because I don't practice it enough. There are people that like, I'm more solid than somebody who has no painting experience.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've painted before, and therefore I'm going to be better at it than someone who's never done it before. But I'm not good at painting. The painting you have is my favorite painting I've ever done. I fucking love that painting.
Oh, damn. That makes it feel even, oh man, that's like, it's even stronger.
Yeah, no, I love that painting. Yes, I love that paint. The painting I gave Joe was one that I painted 2 days. Tie it back again. I painted it 2 days after. Yep, let's go. Painted it 2 days after David Lynch's passing. It's a painting of kind of a chevron patterned wall. With a window in the middle of it staring into a black void.
Oh, yeah.
The window has red curtains, a la Twin Peaks, along with a chevron floor. A couch that is blue, and it's supposed to be blue velvet. Hope it kind of comes through there. On hardwood with a lamp next to it that's glowing a little bit. It's one of my favorite paintings I've ever done, if not my favorite painting I've ever done.
You can
because
see it was very well still, yeah. That was...
Oh, yeah. No, I love that. I love that painting. And it was one of those things where I have the chronic problem when painting, which is that I don't know when to stop.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't know when something's done. And that was one of those paintings where I finished it and I was like, that's it. It's done. It's over.
Wow.
And I didn't force anything else, which felt really good. Like some of my paintings either get too busy or they end up having that texture without having intention the way that it seemed Van Gogh did, where it's like, oh, well, the brushstrokes are supposed to have like a certain feeling to it. No, it's just like there's globs of paint on this thing because I kept painting on it, which doesn't end up good. So I'm trying to get better again. This movie motivated me to try to get better at it, and all it takes is practice. I'm gonna paint from the brain. Gonna do what I want. I'm gonna start trying to paint things that I'm looking at though too. I think that's a fun idea. I've never really done that.
Yeah, mine is.
I want to do self-portraits. I want to do shit like that. Like I'm not good at painting faces, but the only way to get better at painting faces is to paint faces. So I guess I'm going to have to paint faces.
So many new neurons, to paint. Like, I mean, yeah, this is, I think, I don't know why I'm thinking I'm just going to hide every painting that I ever do. And then, eventually just have them stored away somewhere so that someone can see the complete progression from, complete utter trash to whatever I accomplish at the end of my life. But yeah, I think it's more of like I know it would be very shitty, more of an embarrassment thing. I would not want them to be seen at the beginning. So I think that's where it kind of stems from, is that I would want them very hidden if I attempted. But yeah, no, this definitely got me to be like, I think I give it a shot. Like I even go into work. And
no, you oughta anyway. Like it's just it's a fun exercise. It's a great way to get your thoughts on paper without writing, which is a big, I like writing also, but like, it's a way to channel feeling if you're not sure what you're feeling, which is,
and I'm sure of that,
nice,
actually, I'm sure of that I'm not sure what I'm feeling. So yeah, that's
so like it might tell you actually, like whatever you decide is what you're painting in the moment while you're painting it. Like the way that the painting I sent you today started is not at all what ended up there. It was swirly and it was like largely brown and green. It was going to be a lot of like tree stuff, and then like I eventually started playing with yellow, and then I was like, ooh, I like what happens when I do this, and then I got happy little trees, happy little grass, like all that. It just kept changing and changing and changing. And then I polka dotted a bunch of flowers and I felt good about it. I was like, yeah, that's how it is.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm in a good mood, I guess.
It really is like a flow state thing. You really just, you just go. Yeah. I don't know. I'm definitely game. I mean, yeah. And it's all the weird coincidences of this, his birthday lining up. To when
I cannot believe I watched this on March 30th.
That's insane. The day after I view it, I go into work. My boss is like, "Hey, we have all these art supplies, but they're tucked away in this cabinet that no one ever opens. Can you make a arts and crafts section that puts all of these paints and all of these art and craft stuff on display?" And I'm like, "Okay."
What?
All right, let's. I was like, I don't know. I want to, in some way, do something Van Gogh now, or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this art and craft section, but I'm gonna get to painting. So yeah, I'm something at least. I don't know
Hell
what.
Yeah, brother.
But I'll let the painting gods control the hands whenever it goes down. It'll just happen.
That's how it goes. I love to hear it. Yeah, no, it takes practice, but we'll get there. One day I will be Never mind.
Yes.
One day I will be Van Gogh himself. This ear is not long for this world.
Oh no,
it's got another 10 years max.
No, I hope you do keep your ears. I do think you're skilled enough to be seen without chopping off your ear, and I don't think that's why he did it either. To actually be
well, the
seen
second
more
you move to the big city, it's
publicity
coming
stunt.
off, and I'm handing it to some sort of barmaid and asking her to find you. Okay, that's my plan.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
Oh,
as I'm
man.
sure it was Vincent's. I knew this was
Yes.
premeditated for sure.
Oh yeah.
But
100%.
But yeah, I don't have many other thoughts on At Eternity's Gate. I think a beautiful title, by the way.
Yeah.
And when he comes over the voiceover and he says, "Whenever I stare at a flat landscape, I see eternity."
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
And the idea that he never accesses it, and he's always right at its threshold, but he can never reach the horizon because it's always the landscape, and he's always at eternity's gate, and he's always looking like it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
What a perspective. Yeah. A beautiful outlook. But
gorgeous.
very sad man at the same time, though. But yeah, a great, a good, I feel like I'm a broken record. Is very lately I've just been like, man, this is a great movie. So recently, and I feel
we
like
just keep watching good movies. It's weird.
I mean, this is why would I ever complain? No,
I'm with you. Well, I think it's so interesting to think about like the stretch we've been on, basically since, as far as the Sentimentalists is concerned, we did Mission Impossible, and then we did a really great month of queer movies, and then we did Cinema
Alien.
Surprise.
Dang.
We did Alien. Alien was first. We did so like we went Mission Impossible, Pride Month,
yes,
and then Alien. So we, Alien, the first Alien, the second Alien. Holy shit, great movies. And then there's a bunch of really solid movies, and then some really not so solid movies. But then since then, we went on the Cinema Surprise, some all-time Christmas movies. We did romance movies. We did Black History Month. We did the Secret Societies, and now we're just ticking. All-time streak here in 2026, which unfortunately will be broken in May, as we will be taking a breather from recording on movies week to week. But we will be watching, at least I know I'll be watching, a lot of movies with some of my favorite actors of all time, because we are going to be doing a top 100 actors and actresses over the month of May, which I'm so very excited. And Willem Dafoe will inevitably be appearing there. Maybe Mads Mikkelsen. Maybe Mads Mikkelsen could find his way in there. Little sleeper here. Rupert Friend could find his way. Could. I love Rupert Friend. I don't know that for sure, but I like him a lot. Oscar Isaac could be there. Almost certainly is, actually, now that I think about it. He probably is top 100. So a lot of really, really great actors in this movie, and we're going to be talking a lot of really great actors in May. But in the meantime, we've got a few movies left in the month of April. Next week, we are going to be getting our hearts torn asunder with The Green Mile. Cannot wait to finally see what all the sadness is about.
Man,
gonna enjoy that one.
April showers, indeed. Yeah, we are. The tears will be flowing for the month.
They will, and the tears will not stop. As on 420, we will be discussing Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed. Different kinds of tears. Happy tears. My eyes will certainly be bloodshot. Yes, my eyes will certainly be bloodshot, and definitely from tears, folks. Definitely from tears.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man, what a month! What a month, dude. Yeah,
what a month. We'll top it all off with Silence, starring Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver, Liam Neeson, directed by Scorsese. Cannot wait for that. So, incredible stuff ahead. At least I hope so. Haven't seen it, except for Scooby-Doo 2. I have seen that. That's the exception. Joe somehow has not, which is a miracle.
I know.
But you can find our coverage of the first Scooby-Doo movie on another one of our shows. It's called Geek With Me. It's a nerd shit podcast. At least that's what it's become. But we covered all sorts of movies prior to founding the Sentimentalists and then rebranding that show to Geek With Me. And Scooby-Doo was among them. Probably chief among them, actually. That is probably the single most important episode of the podcast's history. Scooby-Doo 2002. Special days, that one. But Geek With Me is currently covering Maul, the Shadow Lord, for the Star Wars Disney Plus series. Very, very excited about that. Started this week, continues next week. They do 2 episodes a week, so we're covering them 2 a week. As soon as Daredevil Born Again hits halfway through, we'll be touching on that a little bit. So those are kind of the things that are occupying our time on Geek With Me until House of the Dragon Season 3 rolls around, which I'm also very excited for. So Geek With Me has all the nerd shit going on. Over here, we get to talk about, Vincent van Gogh and Children of Men and all this sort of stuff. And then over there, we're like, oh, laser guns go boom. It's a lot of fun. I love doing that. So got to check that out. And we mentioned David Lynch only 70 or 80 times on this episode. So you ought to go ahead and check out Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast. It was friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. If you have watched Twin Peaks, you'll have a blast listening to Joe watch it for the first time and have zero clue what we were heading for, and me just kind of dragging him along for the ride, waiting for him to see and teasing him at every turn I can without him knowing it sometimes. It was brilliant. It was a lot of fun. And if you've never seen Twin Peaks, you got to watch the show, and then we happen to have a companion podcast for you. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. Keep listening here. Leave a 5-star rate and review and download here on The Sentimentalists. Check out Geek With Me. Check out Firepod with me. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you rating At Eternity's Gate? All of this artistic philosophizing, all of this beauty and discussion of godliness and how artisticness is next to it and its beauty is only matched by that which is divine. Sum all your feelings up into one number on a scale of 1 to 10 using 0.25 intervals, if you would.
Well, with all of that being said, I don't know how to weigh the real world, how much of just the real world I am thinking of because of the movie. Like, the movie is making me think these thoughts. But it is I think that is, it goes to the
It's
rating,
worth something. It's worth something.
But yeah, I think I just have hesitation. It feels like the conversation we had, it should be like, oh, well, if a movie's getting you to talk like this, holy shit, how is it not a 10? But I have...
It's not a 10.
Yeah. It's as a movie goes, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what else I would really change. I enjoyed the experience I had, but it wasn't like last week. I knew, while watching, I knew this was a 10. I'm like, holy
we talked about
shit.
it while we were watching, while we were talking about it last week. I mentioned that sometimes there's a movie so good that it makes every other 10 we've given seem wrong.
Like, ooh, yeah, hand that one
oh,
out,
maybe we were too
easy.
nice to that. Or I said that about my 5-star ratings on Letterboxd, where I was like, I gave this a 5-star on Letterboxd. Doesn't get the same 5 stars as Children of Men.
If this came first, maybe.
Could
I
be
don't know.
combo.
I don't know, but I don't think so. I think it still is high. Like I'm of going back a
I'm
week
sitting
before.
at probably a 9.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna like. Hot Fuzz was at 8. I knew I was above. I'm enjoying this more than Hot Fuzz. So yeah, I think it is that kind of sweet spot in the middle there. So yeah, I think I will just follow suit there. I think that that rounds out really nice. It feels good. The absolute in between of Hot Fuzz and Children of Men is obviously
one
At
could
Eternity's
only
Gate.
imagine that would be At Eternity's Gate, starring Willem Dafoe, directed by Julian Schnabel. So what would you say splits Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz and Alfonso Cuarón's Children of Men? Well, let me think about that real quick. No, it's At Eternity's Gate by Julian Schnabel. There's no doubt about it. And the crowd goes wild. That's the number one answer on the Family Feud board. Steve Harvey drops into a split. Everyone goes crazy. We won the grand prize, baby. No, I'm very, very happy with it. 90% on the sentimental meter. Doesn't get much better than that. It has gotten better than that, but it doesn't get much better than that. I'll tell you that much. Loved me some At Eternity's Gate. Like I said, we'll be back next week with Frank Darabont, the Green Mile, director of Shawshank Redemption. Seems like he's got a thing for those types of movies.
Yeah. The prison system. So, isn't that the Green Mile
stuff that'll make you devastated. So looking forward to that. But got that coming next week. But in the meantime, I think we can call it here. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, fuck ice.